Hi everyone, I'm Prateek. I work with the products team on AMP Impact. Uh, and Caroline, can you just get everything on the page and I'll talk about the Libertas release. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about Libertas release because we had a lot of really exciting power-packed features, especially for our indicator management and from a user experience enhancement perspective. So for indicators, indicator management, we have dynamic display of fields uh, in the indicator pop-ups by data type. We really feel like this will enhance your experience of creating and editing and generally managing your indicators or manage indicators table. We have configurable comments pop up on targets and results, which lets you add additional context to targets and report results that you report for your indicators. And we have massively improved data load capacity on targets and WC. It now supports 7 times more data that it did earlier. And I'll talk about what it supports right now. And in addition to that, on targets LWC, you can now filter by reporting periods. So a few releases earlier, we introduced this capacity that you can set your targets across reporting periods. And if you have multiple if you are setting your targets across years and you track monthly, it can be a lot of reporting periods. So we have now introduced this functionality that you can just filter your reporting periods and focus on few reporting periods at a time. In addition to that, we have for submissions, you can now specify which submissions you want to show on the same record that you have set those up. It's a really powerful enhancement. It really lets you do a lot of use cases. And one example is if you're using submission responses to collect responses and also get them reviewed, you can set these in a way that on one tab you have just the responses, and on another tab you just have reviews. So it just makes your experience of working with submissions a lot better. And finally, on Gantt charts, we have the weekly view. We heard you, we talked to a lot of people, and we understood that this is the most common view for tracking activities, and we have that in activities right now. So with that, I will go into the demo. Thanks, Caroline. I'll share my screen. Hope you guys can see my screen now.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, perfect. Just a second, let me hide all these things. All right, so let's start with dynamic display of fields on add and edit indicator. So I'm on a project record and on the indicator table. And if I want to create a new indicator, I can click on the button, get this pop-up. But now what I have is I have contextual fields based on data type. So if I select currency, you will see that this new field reporting currency shows up. And if I select anything else, it doesn't show now. Similarly, if I select the number data type as either number or percent or currency, any quantitative data type, I have this option of creating an aggregated or calculated type of indicator. But if I select a qualitative indicator, let's say, I only have an option to select input and read only. So you can see it makes the user experience a lot better. And you only see the options that you're supposed to be working with. Let's see a last one. If I select pick list, you will see that I have this option to add reporting pick list values. And if I want to map those to number, then I see this additional option to map those to numbers. This is a very flexible feature. Your organization can set it up based on your use cases. You can define the fields that you want to display based on the data types and type of results, and it will work for you. Cool. Let's move to the configurable comments pop-up. I'm really excited about this one because this gives you a lot more power. So when you are setting your targets, you can now click on the comments icon and add custom fields to this pop-up. So you will see I have a new field here, target probability. This is a custom field that I have added to track the probability of the target being likely, moderate, or unlikely. I can add a target. I'll just have some sample data here, and I can save those values. Similarly, on results, now you can have different fields on results comment than targets. So you can have contextual data if you want to track different information for results and targets, you can do that. And again, you can add custom fields here. So if you want to add a rich text field, if you want to add images, links, you can just create a rich text field, add it here, and see that. Close that. And finally, on activities, we have Gantt charts where you can have a weekly view. So if you select view by month, you have this sub column here where you can see the activities in a weekly view. And if you want to manipulate them by week, you can do that. I hope you get a lot of value from these enhancements that we have built. And finally, going back to targets, you can now filter by reporting periods. So as you can see here, I have a lot of reporting periods here for both 2023 and 2024. But if I only want to set targets for, let's say, this quarter, and I only want to see those values, I can filter my table and I'll only see the values that I set filters for. So yeah, you can basically streamline your process of entering targets and focus on the reporting periods that you are working with and only set targets for those. It also helps the organizations who have a lot of data on this page, and if they want to work with a lot of results, you can basically load few reporting periods at a time and work with a lot more data than you did earlier. Cool. With that, let's go to what's coming in Myra. Actually, before that, are there any questions for this, Caroline, that should be talking about?
We didn't see any questions in the chat, but I didn't say this before. Please feel free at any point when we're talking, either in the larger group or in the breakout groups, to use chat for questions. We can actually, we have a bit of time here. Prateek really breezed through that quite quickly. Any questions that anyone has? Anyone want to see one of the features again that Prateek walked through? I'll give it 15 seconds in the chat to see if anyone has anything before we go into our next release, which is Myra. The other thing, while I'm waiting, if anyone has questions in the chat, Prateek, can you go to the release notes? I think one plug here is to make sure that you know where to access the AMP knowledge base. And we can share, Carmen, do you mind sharing a link in the chat to the AMP impact knowledge base? It's our externally facing Confluence space. It's where all of the release notes are. You can find your implementation guides, user guides, feature information, customization considerations, and also, as we're looking at here, the release notes, which have very detailed, not only what Prateek just showed us in terms of feature enhancements, but also any sort of bug fixes that were included in the release as well. Cool. All right, it seems like we don't have any questions. So Prateek, we can get back into the preview.
Awesome. So that's about Libertas. Our next release is going to be Myra, which is scheduled for end of April 24. And in this release, we have one of the most requested features, numerator and numerator by denominator data type for indicators. We are making the indicator functionality even more powerful by introducing this feature. And I'll give you a sneak peek of what that looks like. And in addition to that, we have enhancements to the submit functionality. So basically, we are introducing a streamlined flow which will allow you to lock all the components on the record that you are working with. And I'll also show what that looks like. This flow, we are assuming, we hope that it's going to add a lot of value for your organization because it's going to be very customizable to your particular use case. And it's going to make your submission and approval processes a lot more user-friendly. All right, with that, I'll move to the preview. I hope you guys can see my screen. Before giving this preview, just a flag that this is a prototype. So when it is released, it might look a little bit different. So let's see the numerator by denominator indicator first. I'm on the project record and the indicator table as earlier. I click on the add new custom indicator button. And in the data type, I now have this option of selecting a numerator by denominator indicator. I select it. And you see, I get a new option to enter numerator definition, denominator definition, and calculation factor. This is a prototype, and that's why these values are pre-filled, but you will get option to enter the values that you want. I can specify indicator definition, and I can also specify numerator definition and denominator definition if I want to define those. Calculation factor by default is 100 because a lot of people want to calculate for percentages, but if you want to change that, you can do that. So I can save it and I can go on to set targets. You can set targets normally as you would for percentage indicators or any other numeric indicators. And once you have set those, you can go back, go to entering your results. On results, you will get a pop-up to enter your results. And again, these are pre-filled because this is a prototype, but you can enter the results that you want. In the pop-up, you will be able to see your numerator definition, denominator definition. You will be able to enter the numerator value and the denominator value, and the result would be calculated for you. Once you click on save, you see the final result on the table. So this is a very high level overview of numerator by denominator data types. We really excited for you to try this one out and make use of this one and track your numerator and denominator indicators using this functionality. So if your organization tracks these kinds of indicators, please try out Myra and upgrade to it. Cool. I'll move to the submitting entire application flow. Again, this is also a prototype. So when it's released, it might look a little bit different. I click on the submit button. I see a submit pop-up, just a confirmation. And if I confirm, my application would be submitted. But what it means is if I go to frameworks table or any other table, you'll see that the component is locked. I can't add or edit existing components. So the options to edit or delete are locked. And similarly for indicator table, for my targets table and my results table and other activities tables and all the components that you are working with, they would be logged as well. So yeah, you can really streamline your submission and approval processes using this. And we hope you get a much better user experience using these features.